Thank you for joining me on today's video. I think you're really in for a big treat today. I'm going to show you an actual real world use case. I'm going to show you a requirements document from a subject matter expert who's not a technology person, or at least not a software engineer. And he'd asked me about building an application for a team that he volunteers for, and I just asked him to write down, like, give me like top 10 requirements of the application. And so I'm going to show you exactly how I got this from, again, a non-software engineer, and how I came about asking some follow-up questions. And then based on those follow-up questions, I actually wrote a detailed requirements document. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take those requirements and we're going to feed it to a new application that's called AutoCoder. And with AutoCoder, you can actually build an entire application out just based on the requirements. And we're going to walk through all that, you and me, here on this recording today. So thank you for joining me. Stick around. I think you're really going to enjoy this. Before we get started, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do that. And be sure to like the video. I super appreciate anybody who leaves me comments or gives me some feedback. So if you happen to use AutoCoder, or if you're looking to build an application, you're not a coder, this is the video for you. So you're in for a real treat today. So let's get right into this. I asked my friend, tell me a little bit about this application. What's it used for? What are some of the major functional requirements it needs to have? And this is what I got. So I had to glean into this, read between the lines. I kind of knew when he says log in, sign in, it needs to do mission tracking and needs to have some type of reporting. The context of the application has to do with volunteer emergency response people in the state of Georgia, and they will get called upon during different emergencies such as snowstorms, ice storms, tornadoes. Georgia's known for having tornadoes that come through. There could be lost persons in the mountains, missing persons. They get called upon to help canvass areas. And what they do is they have to assemble a team. They name a mission. They assemble a team of individuals who say they can make it, and they get assigned to this mission. And then when the volunteers show up, they actually have to clock in so that the team knows who is there looking for people. So when a mission is ongoing or the mission's over, they may know who's still out looking for somebody, or who's still out on the job doing their duties. So that's really what it's going to do. The volunteers are technically referred to as like soldiers. They are trained. They go through rigorous training many times a year, and then they meet so they're prepared for when these crises and these emergencies pop up. But when they show up, they actually have an ID card that has a barcode on it. And what we'd like to do is to be able to scan the people in when they show up, and then to be able to scan the people out. So this is what I received for the initial requirement. And then I had a few follow-up questions that I sent back over to my friend. Does the application need to work offline, especially if they're in remote areas? I said, and all the answers are in bold. So maybe sometimes different roles that need to be supported in the application. So user, manager, and an administrator. What roles set up a mission, and that's a manager. And then there's the other requirements down through here. So the person that's going to be signing in to the mission would be considered like a user. And then admin's able to maintain all the settings of the app. A manager sets up the mission, logs the application into a mission, and then now the application's ready for users to actually sign in. When it comes to setting up internally to create missions, this is some of the things that it has to have, like a name, the date, which users would be assigned, a description, maybe a code name, and then a time when they're supposed to return to base. And then if they want to assign a team instead of like individuals can be put into teams. They could assign different teams to the mission as well. They also do activities called drills, and that's where they go and they prepare. So they They will actually have a staged crisis situation, like people injured, hurt from tornadoes, stuff like that. And they use like real helicopters and Humvees and stuff like that to show up and execute on these missions. So they want to be able to distinguish between a mission and a drill. Users must sign in to a mission, and then when they return back to their starting point or their agreed upon return point, then they need to sign out. And all this stuff's going to capture their sign in and their sign out time. And it's the most convenient if the application is able to use their cards, and then nobody has to manually write down your name and your call number on a sheet of paper or something as simple as that. So what I have here on my screen now is the actual prompt or the initial requirements. Sometimes these are mentioned as listed as a PRD or product requirements document. But what I'm going to do is take this entire product requirements document and drop it into AutoCoder and let AutoCoder think about it, plan it, organize it, come back and ask me questions. And then what it's going to do is to create all these features, and it's going to create those into a queue. And then the application is going to start building everything out for me. But I'll just read you just a little bit about what I've created here. And I will share this prompt. It'll be shared. Just read the link in the description. You'll be able to get it if you care. You can see how I kind of wrote this up. But either way, it approaches this from how like a software engineering mind would approach an application. These days, all the AI coding assistants are able to do all this stuff as well. But I wanted to show you, this was all written down by me kind of planning out the build out of the applications. But the top level is I need to build a responsive web application that uses the latest UI design and that is easy to navigate. The app should be mobile first. It will probably be used by an iPad or a tablet, but could also be used by a phone or a browser on a laptop. The tech stack, the application should be easy to build and maintain and very easy for today's modern AI coding assistants to understand the code base. I would like an easy deployment that is affordable. I would like a web hosting that provides me a free SSL certificate. I would like the benefits of using GitHub Actions so that I can easily build and deploy the web application, and so that it's repeatable to make the changes and consistently deploy the application. Also, all this information has got to be stored into a database, and then I will go down and talk about the actual context, the features of the application, and the functional requirements. So I list all this stuff out, and then what I'm going to do based on these functional requirements, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it into this AutoCoder program, and we're going to walk through, I'm going to let you see over my shoulder exactly what all is going to be built out. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Let's jump right into the AutoCoder application and just kind of look behind the scenes on how to use this tool and just watch it go to work. So let me switch tabs here. So the applications has different themes that you can switch to, things that you like as far as color schemes and things like that. I've used the AutoCoder to already build out a journaling app. If you've seen any of my other videos, you saw how I use this tool to build an application out end to end that's able to read all my journal files. And then what it does is it automatically produces me YouTube content or social media content for YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, blog posts. And, it's pretty amazing. I built 122 features out with AutoCoder, and it was able to build, test, validate, and make sure everything works. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project, and we're going to get started building out this mission-ready response application. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create a new project. Create the new project, give it a project name. We'll call it Mission Ready Response. Select a project location. And feel free to follow along or as you're building out your app, just do what's appropriate for you. I should say that I'm working off of a Mac. So some of the folder structures and things like that are going to be specific to a Mac computer instead of like if you're using a Windows computer. Select this folder. So now we're ready to actually start creating our specifications with Claude. So I can say start chat here with Claude Code. I can describe your app ideas. So Claude's thinking here. You can see it's just kind of booting up, waiting on me to provide it some information. Let's start with the basics. What do you want to call this project? In your own words, what are you building? Who will use it? So I'm going to say the project's called Mission Ready Response. Number 2, I have detailed requirements that I'm going to paste in. For number 3, this is listed all in the requirements. Instead of using the requirements like I did, you could actually be right here with Claude and drive this out as you're working here. So it says do a shift enter for a new line, press enter to send. So what I'm going to do is just take all these requirements, I'm going to paste these in. Copy all this, just paste in. Then I want to hit enter. Let's see Claude start to plan this out and think and reason about it and see where we go from here. I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to come up with. So Claude says, thank you for a detailed requirements. This is really well thought out application for managing volunteer check-ins. I can see this being invaluable for tracking personnel during critical situations. Before I finalize the specification, I have a few clarifying questions. Questions 1, barcode scanning method. How do you envision the barcode scanning working? Camera-based scanning, using the camera on the tablet or iPhone, or a detailed scanner. So what we're going to do is just answer the questions down through here. So for number 1, I'm going to say camera-based scanning. We can do shift enter. Question number 2, user pre-registration. You mentioned users would generally be pre-assigned to a mission. How do users get into the system initially? So for this, I'm going to say an administrator enters their information. And then sends an email or text invitation. They will then finalize setting up their accounts. Including setting their email, phone number, and password. Seems good enough for now. 3, team structure. You mentioned team missions can be assigned to which teams. Static team names, Alpha team, Bravo team. These can be persistent across missions. Let's go with both because I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and ask my friend on the requirements. 4, offline mode. Offline mode priority. You mentioned offline mode could be created at a later phase. To help me scope this correctly, include basic offline in the initial spec. Core check-in out works offline, syncs later, adds approximately 15 to 20 features. Defer entirely until phase 2. Build online only first, offline and future enhancements. Let's go with number 3 on this so I can see how complex it is. Five, reports. You mentioned managers can run reports. What kind of reports are most important? So mission attendance summaries, individual volunteer hours, team participation stats, something else. Let's start with mission attendance summaries and time on mission. 6, notifications. Should the system send any notifications? Let's decide for this one later. Take your time answering these responses, and will help me create a precise specification that the coding agent can execute effectively. So that's as much as we need to get started. So I'm just going to hit enter, and let's see what Claude comes back with now based on those answers. Excellent answers. Let me answer the offline mode complexity question, then we'll move forward. And I'm seeing this for myself the very first time, so this is all new to me of how we would possibly even pull this off. What offline mode would require? Local data store, sync mechanism, service workers, UI indicator, data integrity. Estimated additional features, 20 to 25 features. Syncs conflicts during emergencies could cause data loss if not carefully designed. Okay, so let's defer until a later phase. We'll say I agree, let's defer until later. Let's get something functional and working for now, and then we can expand. Perfect decision. Let's get a solid working foundation first. Phase 2, involvement level. Before I dive into all the technical details, one quick question. How involved do you want to be in technical decisions? Quick mode, you've already given me great details. I'll handle the database design, API design, and database decisions based on your requirements. 2, detailed. Given you've already specified a preference for Next.js, TypeScript, and Supabase, I'm leaning toward quick mode, but I'll show you a summary before generating files so you can approve or adjust. Which do you prefer? Let's just go with quick mode. So here's all the breakdown. Summary of what I'm building. Mission Ready Response, MRR, a mobile-first web application for Georgia emergency response volunteers. And this is a tech stack. The front end is going to be Next.js, styling using Tailwind. The database is SQLite for local development, Supabase for production, free tier, easy migration path, real-time capabilities. Authentication is going to be Supabase auth, barcode scanning, deployment with Vercel. They have a free tier. And then here's how it's going to do testing. So it's giving me a database design. So this is designing the tables. The key tables are users table, a teams table, a missions table, mission assignment, mission check-ins, and invitations. Here's core features, core feature categories. We've got infrastructure, authentication, user management, team management, mission configuration, barcode scanning, check-in, check-out flow, reports, UI, UX with responsiveness, error handling, and edge cases. Total of 110 features, including 5 for infrastructure. Here's some screens that are going to be built. The login screen, a dashboard, mission sign-in mode, large clear UI for check-in kiosk style, shows mission versus drill prominently. Team management, user management. Number 6 is a mission setup. We've got reports. Users can edit their own profile and settings. And here's the implementation phase. So the phases are going to be a foundation, then they're going to create the core mission flow, check-in system that has the barcode scanning, check-in and check-out flow with kiosk mode, reports and polish, and then testing and refinement. And this is the deployment strategy. So local development first, production, CI/CD with GitHub Actions, auto deploys on push domain. We get SSL certificate for free. All right, so now Claude's asking me, does this look right? Before I generate the specification files, please confirm. And once you approve, I'll generate the specs here and then an initializer prompt. So this looks good to me. Looks great. You can continue. So now AutoCoder is going to actually take all this, feed it through Claude, and it's going to write these the specifications at this location, and then it's going to give it a prompt to initialize everything. So now I'll generate the specification file. Let me first check the existing templates and then create the files. Good, I have the template. Now let me create both files, the app specification, and update the initializer prompt with the correct feature count. So this is where it came back, file created, specification file, and now let's verify the update and create the status file. The specifications file is created at this folder path. Feature count's been updated correctly. Now I'm going to write the status file. Your specification has been created. So we've got the app specs, a initializer prompt with 110 features. And what's in your spec kind of goes over that. Mission ready response includes 3 user roles. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. 6 database tables, 110 features, 7 implementation phase with the tech stack. The continue to project button should now appear. Click it to start the autonomous coding agent. If you don't see the button, type /exit to exit the project. First session will take several minutes. It's going to actually generate 110 features, and it's going to save it into a local database that AutoCoder is using. And then it's going to have various coding iterations to work through these specs, spec by spec. You can press Control+C to pause the agent any-time, or you can run this command start.bat if you're on Windows, or you can do a /start.sh on the Mac Linux to resume where you left off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually kick this off. You can configure the AutoCoder of how many concurrent agents you want to have running at the same time. What you have to be mindful of here is just how much strap you put on your token content, and how much contention you have against what the Claude Code agent's going to be using. Just keep in mind, for every feature, the way this AutoCoder works is it runs like UI tests, it runs UI validations, and it's going to take a screenshot of every UI feature that it builds, and it's going to verify that the feature actually matches up with what it has in its specifications. And then it has a QA and a tester, so it'll actually go validate the code compiles, that there's no errors in the console logs. So let's just kick this thing off and see where it goes from here. Once I do that, it should actually populate all my pending features. The instructions say that it takes a little while for the features to get populated, because it's going to take these specifications from a spec file, and I believe what it does is it persists it either into a database or into an in progress text file. So let's kick it off, see what it does. This is really cool seeing all the little cute icons and UI and iconography going on. Let's just take a peek behind the scenes of what this activity is showing. Initializing project features. So this is one of those things where you just need to be patient and let the tool do what the tool's going to do. So now we can see where it's starting to write down some of the features. Infrastructure, it's categorized the features into these different categories. Infrastructure, UI foundations, authentication, navigation, security, user management, and where this has blocked it, it understands like a dependency. So different features have a dependency on another feature or another functional category. So before it can get started on those, it's got to finish those up. So that, again, it's doing these in batches. So I've created 39 features. Now I need to create the next batch. Good progress. Now let me check the count and add more features. So we can see now we've got 110 features pending. These statuses are pending. I'm curious. I'm just going to scroll down here and look at some of the features we didn't see earlier. Let me jump down past. So under 50, we got mission configuration, barcode scanning, check-in flow, reports, UI responsiveness, error handling. This is so cool. Accessibility, data integrity, performance, form validation. This is incredible. This doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. That's creating a README file. It's creating the initial project structure. Initial setup, project structure with an init file. And here's the progress, 100. Feature complete. We can see 3 active agents working. Spark, Octo, and Fizz. Feature 1, 2, and 3. You can expand that to see all their activity of what's going on. Now we see 3 agents in progress. And then what's going to happen as each one of these things are complete, they're going to get moved over here to the done column. What I'm going to do now is just let this run. I'll come back and capture some screenshots from time to time. You can see we're nearing the end here of AutoCoder taking this initial 110 features. So right now we have 108 features passing of 110 to go. There's 2 minor features still pending. You can see it's going to do email format is validated. And when you look at the details of this, you can see the dependencies. You can see how it's actually going to go do its test steps. I could edit this if I wanted to edit any of the tests that I want it to do, if I wanted to skip it, or if I wanted to delete this feature. For now, I'm just going to leave it here for the application to continue processing. And then we'll check back when all 110 features are done. So this is incredible. 110 features finally completed. This did take pretty much all night for the application to run. I did have to restart the AutoCoder process and the agents a few times. Something's causing the process to restart, and then the AutoCoder is waiting on my input to select a project to pick up and run. There's probably a way to bypass that, or to have it where it restarts to automatically progress through this project. But either way, I'm done with 110 features. So you can see everything was moved from the pending column. Now it's all the way over here into the done column. 110 features are done. And long ago we saw feature 1, and as we scroll down, we'll get all the way down to feature 110. Let me just jump all the way down to the bottom of the screen. So as we get all the way down to feature 110, password meets minimum requirements, and we saw that get completed as we were recording. So now what I'm going to do is actually look at the instructions on how to actually run the app. So I'm going to show you how the app looks, and you and I will actually get to see it for the first time on this recording. Now that the AutoCoder is completed building out the entire application, let's take a look and see what it built, and let's start it up and take a peek at it for the first time on this recording. So if you recall back when we first started the project, it asked us where we wanted to save the generated application, and it created a folder in the directory that I chose. So here's all the stuff that was created, and I'm logged into Visual Studio Code. Feel free to use whatever Explorer or IDE that you prefer to work with. But all the code was actually generated inside of here. This is a Next.js app that it told us about. These files like Claude progress, the features DB, this is where all the features that it built out were actually recorded and persisted. So if we were to scroll down through this file, it's really long. All 110 features and all the detail that happened is all recorded inside of here. But before we get into that, let's just start the app up. So inside of the README file, it actually tells you how what the application is about and how to actually start it up and things like that. So I believe it generated a init.sh file here. So if I just run this init.sh file, we should start the app up. It says port 3000 is in use, try 3001 instead. So let's go take a look at the app here on port 3001. Mission ready response. So now I've got to go sign in. I do recall the application creating me a test username and password, so I just copied that down inside of Notepad. So I'm going to paste these in here. So now we're actually logged into the application. Here's the dashboard. This is incredible. We can see active missions, my missions, quick actions to go deal with based on my logged in user. There's specific missions here and different statuses of the mission. We have teams, different teams that were created with members inside of them. And all this data is actually stored. This is real data that's stored inside of the SQLite database here locally. Once this gets deployed, we would do a migration to our production database, or if we had a true dev environment somewhere. These would be like a list of users, and then all these users were created as the features were being built out. You can see details about the users, their email address, status, when they were created, updated. I can deactivate the users. go look at reports. We can run reports for different time periods. And then here's the settings. Theme, the dark mode theme is active. The database is SQLite development database. It shows that we're connected to the database. So honestly, this is incredible. In a follow-up video, I'll go into actually making changes to this application to add additional features. I'm going to show it to the business owner who gave me the initial requirements and see what kind of adjustments need to be made. But I really appreciate you sticking around all the way to the end of this recording. This has been phenomenal just to see what AutoCoder is able to do. So if you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate a comment down in the comments section if you would like the video. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Any of the information that I referenced inside of the project will be listed in the description, and feel free to check that out. Thanks so much for joining me.